Well, welcome, Councillor Kaye Corfe. We've got a couple of questions for you to ask you about your involvement as a councillor in Torridge Common Ground in Bideford, North Devon. So here's your first question, Kaye. What prompted you to get involved in community action? What made you kind of come forward and step up and decide to run as councillor?
There's a number of things, but if I cast my memory back before I decided, before I joined TCG and I decided to stand in the election, I had some experience with the town council, and those experiences were because I work for a charity and because I do a lot of community work. I'm with a sponsorship group, and we've brought a couple of Syrian refugee families over here to resettle. So part of being able to bring those families over was we had to go and speak to Bideford Town Council about it. And what happened is, prior to that town council meeting, a lot of people were saying to me, "You're never going to turn those councillors around. There's no way they're going to agree for refugees to come to Bideford." And I was like, I'm on a mission. And that's exactly what I did. And not to sound like I'm blowing my own trumpet or anything, but I went into that town council room and I just told it from the heart. And I explained about the work and explained about the families and sort of just put my heart on the table. And there was a majority vote, and we were able to bring the families into Bideford. And that was about 3 years, 2-3 years before the election. And then there was another couple of times where I had to visit full town council meetings and be a speaker for other issues in the community. And that sparked a seed. And that seed was actually, Kaye, you could sit on that table and really steer those people in a way where you could make even more change, like be an influencer. So yeah, for me, that was one of the driving forces. And then meeting people from Torridge Common Ground before I actually joined the group and seeing that, oh my God, there's a way that I can get on into local politics, onto the town council, without having to be affiliated to a large party, because it didn't suit me. And I needed something where the group of people could help me break down the barriers that were stopping me from trying to get elected onto the town council. One of those barriers was that I work full time, I've got kids, I can't always do daytime meetings. And TCG supported me and broke down those barriers. And that's fundamentally why I ended up standing.
That's absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. When you were running for councillor and the whole idea of taking it on, was there any sort of main fears or misgivings that you had, Councillor Kaye?
Yeah, I mean, with anything like this, you constantly question yourself. I mean, you are, to a degree, you are really putting yourself out there, because what you're saying is, I can do this. And actually, if I'm really honest with you, even though I knew quite a lot about what the town council did, I didn't know all of it. And I was a bit like, can I really do this? And then the other thing is, a big part of your campaign for the election is knocking on people's doors that are going to be your constituents if you get in. And it feels quite pressured. And actually, you're putting yourself in quite a vulnerable position in a way. Yeah, I think one of the main things I was worried about was, am I the right person for this? And if I do get on, am I going to be accepted? And can I do it? So yeah, the biggest, how I can frame that, the biggest thing was confidence.
Thanks so much. That's really, really good advice. And clearly you overcame all of those barriers and succeeded in becoming a councillor. Over this year, because it's coming up to a year since the Torridge Common Ground councillors were voted in, what have you changed as a group of Torridge Common Ground councillors? I mean, it could be changes in the community or in the way that power is done. Any changes at all that you could remark on would be great.
Yeah, I think so. There's 16 of us that are councillors. One of those people is the mayor. That changes every year. And the changeover in people that are in the town council has been quite stagnant for quite some time. So there was quite a few people on the town council before the election that had been on the town council for 12 years. So 3 separate elections they'd re-got in. And the guy that didn't get in, and I took his place, had been on the council for 12 years. So three runs in the elections. And I think because of that, and because of the 3 of us getting on that are with Torridge Common Ground, I think one of the changes that we made is we made some of the councillors think, oh, we're not as safe as what we thought we were. And actually, people like them can get onto the town council. And I think that was a bit of a shock. And I think the other change that we've made, and I feel that I've made quite a lot, is getting them to think about the diversity and all the different issues that people in our community face. Because, not to run anyone down, but I think there's quite a few of our councillors that may not understand what it's like for a lot of our constituents to be on a low income, or to be homeless, or to be, you know, really struggling and to find work and stuff. And what we're doing from TCG and myself is we're highlighting those issues. So one of the big changes I think we've made is we're getting them to think, and we're putting those issues right in their face so they can't ignore them.
That's fantastic. Thanks so much. It's a really great answer, and hopefully a lot of people will be inspired by what you're talking about. If people are considering getting involved in the kind of community work that you've got involved in, Kaye, what would your one piece of advice be to them?
Do some research. Find out, I mean, if you're in our constituency in Bideford, come and speak to me, because I'm people catching, and because I really, really believe that we need even more diversity and more different people on town council. I don't think that we're bringing everybody's voices to the table at the minute. And you don't have to put yourself forward in the election. You can come and be part of us, because what we're really good at doing is voicing the voices that are unheard. But yeah, I mean, you know, if you are thinking about getting involved in community action, do it, because we need you. And you can do it. One of the things that I say really, really often now, and it's is look in the mirror. You know, if you think that you can do it, you can do it, and we need you.
That's absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. This is the last question. You know, throughout this whole process and running up for the campaign to get yourselves elected in the first place, and throughout this year, talk a little bit about the people around you who have supported you.
Oh God, there's quite a few actually. I mean, my family for the start, everyone in TCG, friends, you know, not just friends that live in my constituency, but other friends who live in other places as well. And as part of the election, obviously we did canvassing, so knocking on people's doors. And what that did is it really connected me to people that I either didn't know or that I only really knew to walk past in the street, like particularly neighbours and people that lived across the road. And because I was out there canvassing, they started to support me as well. Because, to be honest, I was a little bit worried, because I do tend to be a bit of a bull in a china shop and make very, very quick decisions. But what was lovely is everyone believed in me, and that's so, so important to have that support network. So even though it was me that was on that ballot paper and me that got voted in, it's not just me, it's everyone around me as well.
Well, thank you so much, Kaye. It's been really brilliant hearing these inspiring thoughts. And how can people find out more about Torridge Common Ground? We can see the name of the group behind you.
Yeah. So you can email us. I've got a Councillor Corfe Facebook page, Councillor Corfe, which is CORF for Freddie E. And if you Google us as well, we come up, we've got a forum. So yeah, do get in contact. I feel like I'm really approachable. I'm willing to speak to you guys and do whatever I can do to help you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much indeed. Good luck.
Cheers. Thanks, Jamie.